At the beginning of all time, when all that one universe, a powerful race called the Supreme Saiyans ruled over all existence because with their destructive power, they had all the other races at their feet. Even these beings were able to proclaim themselves as the gods of that space. However, in that entire universe, a warrior of pure heart was not in favor of the actions of his other companions. So one day he would reveal himself. Everyone else took him to mockery, because this warrior named Yamoshi had never fought for what was believed to be a weakling. Even if I lose my life today, I have never planned to let you scumbags continue to wipe out all the beings you please. Ha ha ha! Don't say stupid things. You don't possess the necessary to be able to finish all of us. It's practically impossible for you. But at the moment, silver aura would rise all over the planet with an incredible pressure would fall on all the Saiyans. All the Saiyans were surprised because such a power was extremely incredible, hard to believe. This is impossible! I can't believe that the Saiyan whom we considered useless is capable of carrying all that incredible power. Oh, the elite warrior! Attack! Hundreds of Saiyans, without caring about the incredible pressure that Yamoshi was releasing, had rushed against him. However, these would be eradicated from a few movements of Yamoshi. However, more and more Saiyans kept attacking Yamoshi, so the more time passed, a mountain of bodies began to be created among the Saiyans. So at the moment, their king named Kurobi would step forward. I didn't think that they'd be so powerful, but it's a pity. I agree that you possess incredible power, but for us, that's nothing, since you don't even have backup. But I was also surprised when an incredible Ozaru had materialized in all his aura. Well, he was also able to throw energy spheres, being able to finish off hundreds of Saiyans in a few minutes. Unlike you, I don't need to hide in the skirts of my soldiers, as I'm powerful enough to even have to release all my Ozaru. We don't plan to come to the other world alone. You'll have to come with us. It's time, Ozaru. It'll be a dignified death to end all these wretches once and for all. Of course, if I love sacrifice contrails, cosmic rain. At the moment, the energy of both had merged into a single catastrophic amount of energy. So instantly, an amazing power was able to leave all the Saiyans on the ground, while Yamoshi charged his self-destruction. All the Saiyans would change their expression of terror when they realized that Yamoshi's body was bursting. But without having the power required to do something, a gigantic explosion had been created, which was able to eliminate everything in its path. Most of the Saiyans had perished with that Big Bang, though a few were left alive, had their powers completely sealed to them. So the powerful Zeno-sama, being the current most powerful existence of all that vast space, was able to divide it into 18 universes, creating the gods and angels so that each of these is able to have an important position for each of its universes. While on the other hand, Daishinken, the right hand of the King of Everything, was analyzing the last battle that the legendary Yamoshi had. The power he used was catastrophic, but how was he able to dodge all the Saiyans at once? That's amazing. I can't believe it. No matter how great his reaction speed is, that should be impossible. Millions of years had already passed in which even a Saiyan was not even 1/100th of the incredible power that Yamoshi possessed. However, he was able to activate the Ultra Instinct in the tournament of power that they had made for the universal survival of the universes. So, the instant that the Saiyan named Son Goku, or also known as Kakarot, was able to activate the Ultra Instinct to its maximum expression, Daishinken was surprised. This is amazing. That mythical silver hair, those eyes that command respect. I'm sure Son Goku will be the successor of the legendary Yamoshi. However, without being of divine energy noticing, when Yamoshi had generated his great explosion millions of years ago, a gigantic power had been encapsulated, looking for a worthy warrior in which he's able to reincarnate. And since Son Goku was able to awaken the divine energy, he was a carrier or vessel of Yamoshi's incredible power. My friend Goku has an incredible power. He's even like Yamoshi. I want him to become much more powerful and to be the multiversal guardian. That'd be great, my lord, and I agree that with you, Mr. Goku has an incredible power, but he's still not up to the legendary god Yamoshi. I know that, Daishinken, but doesn't it seem incredible to you that at such a young age he's able to access the Ultra Instinct? That's extremely impressive. I agree with you, my lord. Moreover, it seems very surprising to me since even I, an angel who's always been categorized as a prodigy, had to train for millions of years to create a state similar to that of the legendary god Yamoshi. Daishoken would take it out of his thoughts instantly, in which the battle would begin to take place with much more ferocity, since on this occasion Goku didn't possess any wear of energy. So after a few more minutes in which he was able to grant the beating of his life to Jiren, Goku would observe him intently. "Your power is amazing, but you don't possess the required power to stand up to me. Become more powerful, let's have a rematch." Goku would stretch out one of his hands, with which he was able to create a big explosion on the platform of the Tournament of Power. So at the moment, Jiren would be eliminated from the platform. With the Universe 11 has been left without any participant, so I declare Universe 7 as the winner of the Tournament of Power. Zeno-sama would raise his hands, in which they had eliminated the entire Universe 11 completely. Then Daishoken, with the language of the gods, was able to summon the super dragon god Zalma. At the moment, the incredible dragon god would be seen by the entire Universe 7, so instantly Daishoken would be waiting for Son Goku's wish, which had been for the winner of the Tournament of Power. But before Goku's able to say anything, he would fall out of combat due to the excess energy. So instantly, Android 17 had asked for the wish to restore each and every one of the eliminated universes, leaving the rest of the gods and angels surprised by that noble wish. The god dragon Zalma would fulfill that wish, returning all the universes to normal. After a while, new enemies would arrive on planet Earth, but among the most dangerous had been the legendary Saiyan Broly, which was able to overwhelm both warriors. "No! Even if it's hard for me to admit it, I won't be able to beat Broly if we fight separately. We have to merge, Vegeta." "You know that I wish for that least, insect. I don't want to merge with you." "Vegeta, in case we don't do it, we'll be completely defeated by Broly." Broly, without waiting, had launched himself against both of them, who, despite accessing their most powerful state, were not able to face the legendary Saiyan. However, at the moment that Goku was about to use teleportation to leave with Vegeta, Broly was even able to connect a powerful blow on Goku's head. The blow had been so powerful that he was even able to knock him out of combat. "No, you damn insect. You have to wake up. I didn't think that a Saiyan like you who doesn't possess the divine energy would have so much power." Broly would begin to exchange hundreds of blows with the Saiyan Vegeta, but no matter how much Vegeta tried to defend himself, it was completely impossible for him, since the power Broly possessed was completely unlimited. Meanwhile, in Goku's internal energy, Yamoshi was able to take control of his body completely. "So after millions of years, I was able to be reborn, but I don't like the body I currently possess. Although it is capable of supporting large amounts of energy, it's still inferior to my original body." Instantly, Broly was about to end Vegeta's life. A power as well as an amazing pressure was able to be released all over the Universe 7. That pressure at this moment had even caught the attention of the deities of Universe 7. "Hey, Whis, have you been able to feel all that amazing power?" "Indeed, Mr. Beerus, it's a gigantic power, which I'm sure you overcome with ease, and we'd better go investigate." "Don't say stupid things, Whis. It's true it's a great power, but it wouldn't manage to beat me." Both deities, when they met at Bulma's house, were able to reach the battlefield in a matter of seconds, being surprised to realize that the being who released all that great power was Son Goku, but even his energy was somewhat more destructive. "Hey, Whis, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Are you sure that this is the same Goku we know? I can't believe I have all that power." "It is Mr. Goku, or rather his body, since with my staff I can realize that the essence and mind are not those of Mr. Goku. It seems a state of manipulation." Broly, uncontrolled by the excess of energy without caring, would pounce against Goku, who at the moment had a greater transformation similar to that of Broly. That's right, when releasing his power, his hair would turn a green color, which made Broly retreat. "You're a Saiyan who has great power, but right now I'll teach you to respect your predecessors." Broly, with a loud scream, would also expel his power much more, but on Goku's face a smile would be drawn, which would even make Whis feel a chill on his back. At the moment, both warriors began to exchange thousands of blows all over the battlefield. However, on this occasion, although Broly's anatomy was much more robust than Son Goku's, Goku's blows were compatible of causing incredible damage all over his body, while Broly wasn't able to connect any of his. "You thought that I'd be more powerful, but apparently I'm still too powerful. It's not time for me to fully wake up yet." Goku would stretch out one of his hands, throwing a large sphere of energy at Broly, but being only a few centimeters away from crashing into Broly, he was able to be teleported to his planet where he had grown up. So Yamoshi would notice this. How interesting. You're lucky that in this visions that I'm able to have, you're the next Saiyan named Vegeta and Son Goku. You will be the three pillars of the divine energy. Goku's gaze would change to a much more serious one, being able to feel the divine energy near him. But he was surprised to realize that there were two warriors who released this great energy. The energy they release is similar to the energy of Daishinkan's useless one used to release. I didn't know that they were friends or enemies. I'm still not able to unlock all the memories of this body. Beerus would immediately begin to approach Yamoshi, but Yamoshi, considering him as an enemy, would think without throwing an incredible blow, which Beerus was able to protect himself, because otherwise the damage he had received would be amazing. Beerus would instantly expel a lot of his power because he had been too angry. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but I plan to beat you up. Damn it. If Son Goku is able to regain consciousness, he'll take control of my body. I have to defeat him before it's too late. The battle of both warriors would have started, however Yamoshi was surprised because although the energy of Beerus did not compare to the energy of Daishinkan, his combat style was much more brutal. That's right, while the years had passed, all the gods and angels had been instructed by Daishinkan, being able to possess a style of battle that very few warriors were able to follow. Beerus at the moment was able to connect a powerful kick in Yamoshi's back, being able to send him flying, creating a huge chaos all around. I hope this blow will teach you to respect the warriors who are much more powerful than you. Damn, I don't have time. I have to activate a small part of the power of the Ultra Instinct. Luckily, Son Goku is able to reach this state on his own. All over the place, a great light would rise, being able to observe himself as Goku had been able to access the Ultra Instinct. Although it was not the perfect state, the power he radiated was incredible, so much so that the deities were amazed. Power that Goku's body is releasing is amazing. I can't believe it. So, the Ultra Instinct. But it's a pity that it's only a defensive state. It doesn't matter, since you won't be able to do anything against me. I must admit that I'm surprised that you activated it once again, but your bad luck, you're not the only one who's able to activate the Ultra Instinct. At the moment, Beerus would begin to release an incredible power, while his destructive power grew in an incredible way. That's right, Beerus had accessed an incredible destructive state, but with that he was able to master the Ultra Instinct to 43% of its full capacity. The incredible power of Beerus would put Yamoshi in tension, which was not expected that a god would be able to possess all that incredible power. Without the amazement of Yamoshi, Beerus was able to connect a powerful blow in the face of Goku, which due to his power would be dragged by a few mountains around him. After a few seconds, Goku was able to pull himself together, but when trying to stand up, he would fall to his knees again, while too much blood spells all over the battlefield. Well, apparently when I transform, not even the prodigy of the 12 universes is able to do something against me. Beerus would turn his back on him because he didn't intend to end Goku's life. However, to his surprise, in front of Beerus, a gigantic claw would begin to descend. Beerus, realizing too late, was not able to dodge that powerful claw, which, at the moment of colliding with Beerus' body, was able to destroy several energy veins. Well, his organs had been almost destroyed, but thanks to the destructive energy, he was able to save the most important organs. However, in the same way, the damage that he had received was serious. This was a noticeable amount of blood that his body expelled. Wow! I can't believe it! The blow that Mr. Goku had been able to connect to Mr. Beerus had the power to end the life of any god! Damn, Son Goku. I've never tried to end your life, and this is how you repay me! At this moment, I intend to destroy you completely, so get ready! Despite all the damage that Beerus' body had, he had thrown himself against Goku, beginning to grant him an incredible beating, of which Goku wasn't able to do anything. Beerus instantly was able to throw Goku to a few mountains, and at the moment of falling, Beerus would throw thousands of energy spheres against Goku. I'm not gonna end your life, since I'm able to realize that you're not yourself, but I'm not gonna let that humiliation pass immune. The energy spheres of Beerus were able to collide with Goku, who had returned to his base state due to the incredible damage he had received from Beerus. That's right, the power that Beerus had used in each of his energy spheres were on another level. Beerus would instantly return to his base state, and the instant he was approaching Whis, the god Beerus would likewise be out of combat. Well, I didn't expect this result. I can't believe that Mr. Goku was able to beat Mr. Beerus. It'll be better to leave. Whis would heal the wounds of all the warriors, so at the moment they would leave for all the planet of the god Beerus, after a few minutes they were able to arrive. So Whis, with the help of his staff, was able to get Goku and Vegeta to be the first to wake up, since Whis wanted to talk about everything that had happened. I was able to wake you guys up first, as I wanted to know what happened. Ow, my head hurts too much. I feel like thousands of planets have completely crushed me. In fact, it is something much worse than that, since Lord Beerus' blows are extremely powerful, even being able to defeat all the other gods together. What? Are you telling me that I fought Mr. Beerus? That must be impossible, since I remember nothing. And with the help of his staff, he was able to teach her the battle they had both had. For that very reason, I've decided that I would talk to you first, as I can't believe that the power that Mr. Goku has been able to release. The last thing I remember was that Broly delivered a big blow to Kakarot's head, which even knocked him out of combat, until Kakarot himself came to my aid. I don't remember any of that. I just remember that when we talked about doing the teleportation, so that we'd be able to merge and defeat Broly. This would be much more complex apparently, since none of you know what really happened. Even Mr. Beerus had to access his combat form. Form of combat? Wow, that's amazing! But we better find out what happened, because I don't want to fight with Mr. Beerus again without being able to remember that legendary fight. The aspect, I totally agree, Mr. Goku, but I really don't know what happened to you, as your power grew in an impressive way. Hey, Whis, I have an idea. What if Kakarot's being controlled by a much more powerful entity? Would it be a bad idea to find out all the possible alternatives? Whis, with the help of his staff, was able to leave Son Goku out of combat, or rather, leave him in a state of maximum relaxation, which his spirits rest completely. Due to that technique, Yamoshi was able to make himself present once again, but this time he was on the planet of Beerus, the god of destruction. Where the hell am I? Are they able to knock out Son Goku out of combat again? No matter what they do, they won't be able to defeat me. Who are you? And why the hell do you want to appropriate Kakarot's body? Apparently they've been able to discover me, but it won't matter, since you won't be able to finish with Son Goku's body. Meanwhile, the Kingdom of the Whole Daishoken would continue to be very thoughtful because of the incredible power of Son Goku, realizing that his level was threatened was of an incredible level. The power that Son Goku has been able to raise is respectable, but if a much more powerful warrior joins forces with his elite warriors, it'd be a megaversal disaster. Instantly, Zeno-sama would appear at Daishoken's side. What's going on, Dai? I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Is there something that's bothering you? You know that apart from being my guardian, you're my friend. My lord, I really appreciate your words, but it's not to worry. It's just amazement. I can't believe that Mr. Goku was able to release all that power. I was really surprised too. I can't believe my friend Goku was able to become so powerful. That's right. I just hope that Whis is able to guide him on the path of good, because if Son Goku becomes our enemy, it'd be a danger that only Yamoshi would equal. Don't say stupid things, Daishoken. My friend Goku would never be able to do something like that. I trust your intuition, my lord. Returning to the planet of Beerus, Goku's power on this occasion would begin to rise in a much more overwhelming way. So at the moment, with an incredible aura, it would be observed how Goku began to access the Ultra Instinct while his power seemed to have no limit, since incredible amounts of energy ran through his entire body. Apparently, this body, as much more damage it receives, is able to adapt to greater loads of energy. Vegeta would immediately access Super Saiyan Blue Maximum Power, with which he had even obtained an incredible increase of power because with his battle with Broly, he had received death damage. However, before Vegeta launches the attack, Whis would stop him with his staff. Whis, what are you supposed to be doing? I will take care of Mr. Goku, or rather the guy who's controlling him. I'm sure that you, Mr. Vegeta, would not be able to cope with him, since his energy is not something that even I am able to understand. Vegeta would return to his base state, while he was very surprised. Well, so you're able to feel my original energy. Well, that's weird, because it's been a million years since my energy was felt and you didn't even exist. For the same reason, all of us angels are able to recognize each energy, since we were created from the knowledge of the great Daishoken. Now tell me that your father is the weakling of Daishoken. I didn't expect that. Whis was surprised to know that the warrior in front of him had been able to meet his father, But at the moment, both warriors, without saying a word more, launched into an attack. The clash of their fists were incredible. So much so that on this occasion, Whis with his staff would create a barrier for Vegeta and Beerus, so at the moment he was able to continue with a great battle. However, as the battle went on, Goku began to adapt to the rhythm of Whis' battle. But in a small oversight, Whis was able to connect a punch in the stomach, setting Goku to fly to an inhospitable part of the planet of Beerus. The warrior who's controlling Mr. Goku is too strained. When I fight with Mr. Beerus, I was able to barely cope with him. But at this moment, he's even able to give me battle to me.
Whis, I don't doubt you, but you better go seriously, because if that worm has the same strength as Kakarot's body, it's danger.
I agree with you, Mr. Vegeta. But from the place to which Goku had been sent, a great light would rise all over the area, while a maniacal smile would resonate all over the place.
This is amazing. Right now, I want to know if I'm able to summon my legendary Ozaru. I want to know what she's able to do.
At the moment that Goku would expel his power much more, an incredible Ozaru could be observed all over the place. An Ozaru of colossal energy would begin to form all over the planet of Beerus. So at the moment, he had thrown himself against Whis. However, at the moment that Whis would hit him, that Ozaru would explode, creating a gigantic explosion, which on this occasion would even leave in terrible conditions Whis.
I can't believe that Kakarot Bud was able to leave Whis in those conditions.
However, the planet of Beerus would immediately begin to destroy itself, while the entire Universe 7 would begin to tremble. That's right, the authentic power of an angel would become present. But before all the power was released by all the 12 universes, he was able to create a gigantic barrier, so that his energy would not be perceived by any god or angel. I can tell you that you possess an incredible power, so with you I'm not going to hold back. You are a worthy opponent.
That's what I wanted to hear. So I hope you prepare.
At the moment, the gaze would collide. So at the moment, even the energy auras would begin to collide. At that instant, both began throwing thousands of blows all over the battlefield. But this time, each of their blows had the power to destroy an entire solar system because their power was completely overwhelming. Both warriors, possessing the Ultra Instinct, possessed an incredible defense and offense. However, the more the battle went on, Whis would become to overcome, because Yamoshi's Ultra Instinct was the original Ultra Instinct, so Whis would start to wear out the more the battle went on. What the hell's going on? I possess the Ultra Angelic Instinct. It's not possible for a Saiyan to give battle to me.
Your Ultra Instinct is amazing, but you won't be able to compare yourself to my true power, as my power is much bigger than his.
At the moment, Goku's power would triple, this being a real madness, with which he was able to start beating Whis, who was not able to do anything to defend himself. At a certain point in the battle, Whis would fall to the ground on the verge of death. That's right, Goku had completely overcome it. So Goku would start approaching Whis while he'd say to himself,
It's never been my thing to play mean, but I wanted to know what was the limit of this angel.
Damn, I've been completely defeated. But at the moment, Goku would stretch out one of his hands, starting to heal each of Whis' wounds, which would leave him surprised. What is supposed to be happening to me? You almost ended my life fighting, and now you're helping me. I don't understand.
Ask for an apology, but I know that you already know me, or you should have heard about me. My real name's Yamoshi.
Whis was surprised to learn the identity of the warrior who slept in Goku's body. A legendary Yamoshi, who was able to even help the most powerful beings of divine energy, of the supreme Saiyans of the beginning of time.
Exactly, the same. Son Goku is my reincarnation, only that I have a small left of essence in his body to be able to train him and make him much more powerful. I understand that we Saiyans will be able to become more powerful, but at this moment there's no hurry, since no universe is capable of comparing with our power. No, there is a warrior who, like me, has been able to reincarnate, only I'm not able to identify him, and his power is similar to mine or even a little higher.
I understand. For that reason, you wanted to check our powers, to know if we would be up to the new challenge that is about to approach.
Exactly. I'll leave Son Goku in excellent hands. I say goodbye, and this will be the best and last reincarnation I'll have.
Meanwhile, in a place far away from the entire Divine Kingdom, a being of dark energy would begin to awaken after billions of years, while his power seemed to destroy everything around him. An incredible power would begin to be unleashed all over the place. But the distance was so great that the beings of divine energy were not able to notice absolutely anything, because the power of their new enemy was very complex, and he was just waking up, since in the same way to Yamoshi, he had to go through billions of years to be able to wake up again, for his part returning to the planet of Beerus. At this moment, Whis would begin to train both Saiyans in a much more rigorous way to be able to cope with the new enemy that was approaching. I have to be able to train both of them until they possess incredible power, because if the new warrior is able to even surpass the powerful Supreme God Yamoshi, it'll be hard to fight a win.
Hey Whis, I also want to be able to master the Ultra Instinct, because if I also have the reflexes, no warrior will be able to face me.
Beerus would once again approach towards the warriors.
Whis, don't worry about Vegeta. I'll take care of personally training him to be able to become much more powerful.
In that case, I'll train Mr. Goku.
No, Whis, I want to train for my part right now, as I feel that I have to know all my energy again.
Well, I understand, Mr. Goku. In that case, there is nothing I can do. I wish you luck. In 1 month, I want to see your progress. Everyone had left, while for his part, Goku with his teleportation would arrive on planet Earth quickly. So without warning, he would enter the room of time to be able to break each of his limits.
I sure have a lot more power. I feel like there's something being hidden from me, but I have to be able to do something.
Goku would begin with his training, which would start with a great meditation, being able to understand the divine energy much better, and in the same way, being able to completely master it. In this short period of time, they had already spent 5 years in the room of time. So at the moment, Goku would stand up.
I plan to release all my power. I want to know what my new limit is.
But Goku was surprised because by expelling all his power, he was able to access the perfect Ultra Instinct. But without stopping, he would begin to release his power much more. Even his muscles would grow in a great way. Despite the incredible power he possessed, by having all his muscles too big, his speed had been greatly reduced. So Goku would stop expelling all that power, being able to maintain the power that his body resists.
With this power, I'm able to maintain a great power and a great speed, but I must be able to withstand much more energy load.
Goku would start training in the same way, but this time all the training would be dedicated to improving his physique completely. For his part, with the Prince of the Saiyans, Beerus would grant him the best training of his existence, even being able to make him doubt himself. So at the moment that the great Vegeta was lying on the ground, Beerus would stare at him.
It's time. I'm sure Vegeta will be able to master the energy of destruction.
Beerus, with a little disbelief, would throw a small sphere of destructive energy. In case Vegeta is not able to control it, it would be completely eliminated. At the moment, the sphere of energy would collide with Vegeta's aura. His great determination was able to assimilate all the destructive energy. So the moment even his aura would change to a purple color, while his hair in the same way, Vegeta's aura would become much more destructive, and with an incredible scream, he was able to access the state of a god of destruction.
I knew you'd be able to master all that power, so it's time to start with the real training. Wow, the power I feel running through my body is incredible. I'm sure I'll be able to finish with that Kakarot insect. I'll call this transformation Ultra Ego. It's a perfect name for the state of a god of destruction, but you don't have to trust yourself since the Ultra Instinct possesses great instinctual reflexes. Unlike the Ultra Ego that also possesses them but on a lower level, its defense is capable of disintegrating any warrior that doesn't surpass your power. In that case, I now have to become much more powerful, and that's what I wanted. Follow me, training Beerus, please.
Returning to the room of time, Goku had been able to reach an incredible level. However, Yamoshi, who was sleeping inside, was aware that power was not enough to end the new warrior.
I'll have to give him a good humbling so that he has a motivation to become much more powerful.
Yamoshi, using a little more of his divine essence, he would be able to manifest in front of Goku. But at the moment, the whole environment would change completely, because even the room of time wasn't able to withstand all the incredible power that was emanating from Yamoshi's body. Goku at the moment would feel like an incredible pressure would fall on his entire body, which is almost not able to let him move freely.
What is this? I feel like some incredible authority's trying to make me kneel. It's my Saiyan instinct, which forces you to give me reverence to the self being much more powerful than you. but at this moment I'll diminish it so you can move freely. Yamoshi at the moment was able to stop releasing his incredible pressure, so at the moment he would observe Kakarot fixedly. Right now you're gonna face me, so better use all your power from the beginning. I don't know who you are, but I became powerful, so it won't be necessary to use all my power. Goku would pounce against Yamoshi in his base state, but to his surprise, Yamoshi with only his fists was able to stop his punch, and with a small expulsion of his power was able to make him retreat hundreds of meters. Wow, the power you possess is amazing! So in that case, I'll use a lot more of my power. Goku would access the Super Saiyan, but he was surprised to realize how Yamoshi would do it the same way. Both began to fight, but Yamoshi was able to dodge each of his blows with incredible ease. And then he would connect a powerful blow in the stomach, which would make him fall to the ground, creating devastation all over the battlefield. Is that all? I thought that the Saiyan Son Goku is much more powerful. Yeah, that hurt me. But what do you think about this? Goku would immediately begin to access the Ultra Instinct, preparing for combat, so Yamoshi with a big smile would tell him that attack both began to exchange thousands of blows throughout the battlefield. However, Goku, despite possessing the Ultra Instinct, was not able to hit Yamoshi. While receiving several of his blows with great power, instantly Goku was able to see an opening in Yamoshi's defense. But at the moment of being about to hit the lower part of his abdomen, he was surprised to observe the outstretched hand of Yamoshi. So you're very easy to predict. By the way, I left that opening. You have completely fallen, so now feel the real power, Saiyan. Yamoshi would throw an incredible sphere of energy, being able to cause incredible damage to Goku. But instantly the whole place would begin to change abruptly. That's right, Yamoshi would begin to access the original Ultra Instinct, so at the moment his silver-colored eyes were able to observe all over the place. And this is the original Ultra Instinct, a power that you're not able to approach in the slightest. Goku would be surprised while staring at him, but Yamoshi with an incredible speed would singly connect a blow to Son Goku's stomach, being able to knock him out of combat. He really does possess incredible power, but if we want to be ready for what that damn warrior shows up, he has to become much more powerful. 4 days have passed in which Goku would be able to regain consciousness. What happened? I feel like it's all been a dream. You're completely wrong. I'll explain. You are my reincarnation. I've left some spiritual energy. I wanted to show you the true power of a Saiyan. From now on, you'll have to be able to become much more powerful. Goku, before being able to ask anything, Yamoshi's body would disappear completely. So I'm the reincarnation of that powerful warrior. For that reason, I don't remember the battle against Lord Beerus. I have to become more powerful. Goku would immediately activate the Ultra Instinct, being able to train in a much more aggressive way. That's right, Goku's body received a lot of damage, but thanks to this, even his energy increase were much greater, since a Saiyan becomes much more powerful by damaging his body. If I want to become much more powerful, I'll have to train with Vegeta, as I need battles that are capable of completely injuring me. Goku would leave the Room of Time, so instantly Goku would begin to move towards the planet of the god Beerus, arriving quickly, but at the moment of arriving, he was surprised to realize how Vegeta's power had increased in an incredible way, and only in his state of Super Saiyan Blue. Wow, even if Vegeta's not achieved any transformation, his power is incredible. I'm sure that with Vegeta, I'll be able to become much more powerful. Wow. If it's Kakarot Bug, do you even want a new workout? You could tell me. Lately, I've needed a punching bag, and you're perfect. Those words irritated the Prince of the Saiyans, who at the moment pounced against Goku, in which without wasting time he also would access the Super Saiyan Blue. Beginning to exchange blows, their noises were so powerful that on this occasion, Whis and Beerus had realized that Son Goku had returned. No matter what power Son Goku got, Vegeta's power this time is able to even give me battle in my combat form. However, the look on Whis was very serious to know that Yamoshi, the first Saiyan Supreme God, slept in the body of Goku. We can't say for sure, we can only know waiting for everything that might happen. So in that case, how about we watch the fight? Seems great to me, Whis. I want to witness the fruits of Vegeta's training. I'm sure you'll be able to defeat Son Goku. Returning to the battlefield, both of them seemed to be very evenly matched. However, instantly,
Both of them were able to take a little distance, unleashing the maximum of their powers on the Super Saiyan Blue, starting to clash their auras.
Apparently you've become much more powerful, but it's a pity that it's not enough to stand up to me. Look at the power that you'll never be able to overcome.
Goku, at the moment concentrating, would start walking towards Vegeta, while his hair from black began to change to an imposing silver, while his whole aura would rise up by the planet of the god Beerus. Just like an incredible pressure would expand all over the place.
I can't believe the power Son Goku's been able to get. His power is even able to beat me.
I know. If Mr. Goku decided to train on his own, it must be because he had the knowledge that his power grew more by training alone than with me.
What's wrong, Vegeta? Have you not been able to master the Ultra Instinct? It doesn't matter how much power you possess. If you don't have the reaction speed, it's useless.
Vegeta, with a big smile, would raise his power, with which an incredible purple aura would rise all over the place. That's right, on this occasion, Vegeta's power was amazing, even which made Goku retreat a few meters. At the moment of dissipating that great purple energy, Prince Saiyan would be seen with his new transformation.
This is the Ultra Instinct Ego, but you haven't been able to achieve this transformation. I can tell by your amazement.
The power that Vegeta possesses is incredible, but Goku wasn't able to finish his thought because at the moment, Vegeta, at an extremely flashing speed, was able to deliver a furtive blow to Goku's stomach, which, despite possessing the Ultra Instinct, wasn't able to do anything. Goku would be sent to a part of the planet of Beerus, destroying everything around him.
What happened? Didn't you see it coming?
Yeah, damn, the blows given me caused great harm. When Goku stood up, too much blood came coming out of his body and mouth. But Vegeta, without waiting for him to recover, had launched himself against him. Both Saiyans began to exchange thousands of blows all over the battlefield. However, to the bad luck of the entire Universe 7, the imposing warrior was able to locate the essence of Yamoshi. So with his dimensional change, he was able to reach the planet of Beerus, observing the entire planet.
Maybe that's Yamoshi's reincarnation. His power is pathetic. Even an ordinary Saiyan's able to cope with him. Pathetic.
The battle of both Saiyans would begin to lead to the most intense point, because the damage that Vegeta had caused to Goku was serious. However, instantly an incredible presence would become present at the top of the entire planet, and that presence would be felt by the most powerful beings of all the 12 universes. An incredible power had been released in Universe 7, specifically on the planet of Beerus. Said power was even able to make all the deities, including gods and angels, fall to their knees. The ones who were able to withstand that incredible pressure were the beings of the kingdom of the whole. And no matter how surprising Goku, however, it would be difficult for him to stand, since each of his bones were destroyed by the pressure. Instantly, an opposing warrior would appear in front of Goku, staring at him. Goku was not able to do anything because a lot of pressure had him paralyzed. What the hell? Despite having the Ultra Instinct activated, I'm not able to move any of my fingers. What the hell is this pressure? The warrior at the moment was able to open his mouth, from which he would throw an incredible attack. But to Goku's body, to feel the adrenaline of dying, he was able to hit by a simple impulse, managing to give him a blow on the chin, which would generate the great attack, because the great devastation, the top of the planet of Beerus.
Well, I could tell you were able to move when you felt your death approaching, but it's a pity that won't happen again.
Goku was able to notice how Beerus, Vegeta, and Whis were about to die, due to the great pressure that this was releasing. Create a barrier, but in front of Goku, that warrior would start to beat him.
You better worry about yourself, because no matter what you do, all the beings of divine energy will accompany you to the other world.
The blows of the warrior were capable of causing great damage to his body and spirit. That's right, the blows of that warrior even possessed spiritual energy, with which he was able to cause incredible damage. Goku, no matter how much he tried to defend himself, it was in vain. The warrior was able to even beat him all over Universe 7, destroying thousands of planets through the beating.
Rays of calamity!
Thousands of crimson rays would collide with Goku's entire body, which managed to get Goku to return to his base state. So before falling, the subject would take him tightly by the neck, being able to make him crash into hundreds of debris to the end of the Great Kick, send him to the planet of Beerus, destroying everything in his path.
You're a disappointment. Yamoshi's reincarnation isn't even good for a warm-up. I thought his reincarnation would be a worthy opponent.
Damn, I knew that this warrior was coming in search of Yamoshi, but Mr. Goku has not been able to awaken all the incredible power. This will be our end.
That subject would begin to approach Goku while everything on his back, the complete underworld, would form. That's right, hundreds of chains of darkness. They tried to tie Goku's soul, which would begin to give loud screams all over the planet, since they were extracting his divine soul as well as his essence. If I'm able to get hold of your power, it would be easy to jump to other megaverse, which are said to not exist.
Instantly, the subject would be able to fly to a few mountains. That's right, on this occasion, Daishinkan along with Zeno-sama had appeared on the battlefield.
Angelic Protection, level 10.
An incredible energy barrier was able to protect all the warriors present. So at the moment, Whis would start healing all of the warriors. Meanwhile, on the spot, an incredible red aura would rise all over the place.
Oh, wow. That wasn't bad at all, Daishinkan. But after billions of years, only that's the pathetic power you've got? You're still a piece of trash.
Daishinkan, I want you to fight with him with all your power. I thought I'd be able to eliminate it with my current power, but that'll be impossible for me. I plan to merge with my guardians to create the king of the definitive everything.
Nagumo, I don't know why the hell you're doing this. You and Yamoshi and I were war brothers in the past. Even we thought that you died. Damn worm, you guys fanned me. I was cornered by 5 gods of death. I was able to finish 3 of them off, but where were you guys? They were traitors. In that great battle millions of years ago, you, better than anyone, that the power of our enemies was overwhelming. When we came to your aid, we weren't able to locate your body. So unfortunately, we left you for dead. Unfortunately, they left me for dead. And I thought that we were war brothers. But apparently, I was just another pawn on their board. But I came back for revenge. I could see that. But I don't plan on letting you cause more damage.
At the moment, both began to exchange millions of blows throughout the battlefield. Their battle within seconds of starting was able to cause incredible destruction by all 12 universe planets, and living beings were completely destroyed. While on the other hand, Zeno-sama had been able to reunite with his guardians, beginning to channel his power through them to reform a single warrior. An incredible light would begin to let an opposing subject be observed, while his divinity was amazing. I can't believe this! That guy was able to fight on the side of my father and Yamoshi. That's why he wants to eradicate Mr. Goku, since he's the reincarnation of the god of Yamoshi.
What are you doing, Whis? What does it mean that Son Goku is the reincarnation of the powerful god Yamoshi? It said that the god Yamoshi is the warrior who has no limits of power.
Indeed, sir. I was even able to talk to Yamoshi, only that Mr. Goku's not able to master his power completely. For that reason, he's not able to grant access to his great reserves of energy that Yamoshi possessed.
But damn it, if we're not able to make Kakarot wake up, then master that power, that miserable bastard will finish with us. No, Vegeta, we still have the powers of the entire universe. The mighty Zeno-sama and Daishinkan-sama will fight together to finish off that damn warrior.
Let's hope everything goes well, Mr. Beerus, since in that battle both you having my father as being completely outclassed. And an incredible flash would depart from the planet, coming from the battle at a great speed, throwing a big blow. But to his surprise, Nagumo was able to dodge it by a few millimeters. Zeno-sama's blow would destroy everything in its path.
So this battle will be 2 versus 1. That interests me. I've never been afraid of the numerical disadvantage, and so I'll be able to break their prides completely.
You better be ready to visit the god of death, since I have no plans to let the bastard like you continue breathing in the universes of which I'm the king.
Instantly, the trio of warriors would start an incredible battle which would extend to a far level beyond the divine, since each of their fists were capable of creating universes as well as destroying them. By colliding different energies, these irregularities were caused. On the other hand, returning with Goku, he was still out of combat, but in all his unconscious, the figure of the incredible god Yamoshi would be observed, which at this moment was furious.
Damn Nagumo, I personally took the time to look for every trace of your existence, and you dare to say that we did nothing for you? Kakarot, you're my reincarnation. I grant you 100% of all my power. I trust you. Yamoshi at that moment would access the Super Saiyan, with which he was able to create a new flow of energy in Kakarot's body. Yamoshi, without stopping, instantly loud screams would be heard in Yamoshi's spiritual space, which would begin to destroy everything around him. While accessing the original Ultra Instinct, that's right, Yamoshi would use 100% of all his power, so that Goku's body is able to assimilate it by being inside. And this is the power beyond the gods. I would personally like to beat up Nagumo's worm, but I would no longer belong to the world of the living. The whole energy system of Goku would begin to spin around in an incredible way. That's right, since there was a new energy path, and this being the power of the god Yamoshi, everything would begin to unite with the energy flow of Goku. While outside, Goku was able to stand up, however his gaze was gloomy, since he had not been able to say any words, so instantly Whis would approach to check if everything was fine. But in incredible terror, he felt when I observed the red face that he looked on. What was that feeling? I felt like my whole body was completely destroyed. Instantly, Goku was able to get out of the Daishinkan barrier. That's right, he was able to destroy it without any difficulty. But at the moment that the pressure was about to fall on everyone else, Goku would expel an incredible power, while instantly a new barrier was able to protect them, and likewise help heal their internal wounds. On the other hand, Goku's power began to rise in an incredible way, although he was still no match for Nagumo. Even his power still did not approach the power of a priest, but as he raised his power was surprising. After a few minutes, Goku's power continued to rise, so much so that this time he was able to surpass even Zeno-sama's power, which would attract Nagumo's attention since an ordinary body should already explode. Apparently that Saiyan's power is much more powerful than yours, and he's finally been able to unlock the hidden Yamoshi's power. Zeno and Daishinkan at the moment rushed against him, but Nagumo, with a great beam of energy, was able to send them to fall towards a planet, with their bodies completely destroyed. Nagumo, at an amazing speed, would approach Goku, but at that moment, an incredible roar was able to completely drive him away. That's right, Goku hadn't been able to access his maximum power, so from a great light, a completely different Goku could be observed, since all over his body you could see the marks of the Omni-Supreme God Yamoshi. This state had only been used once. Wow, you amaze me. A few hours ago you were a good-for-nothing bug, but right now your power's risen in an amazing way. Now I gotta know who I really am, and that the mission of my existence. But first, I have to put an end to the ghosts of the past. Goku at a great speed would put in front of Nagumo, who was also surprised, because with the speed with which he had moved was amazing. You still have great speed, but you're nothing to be able to hit me, and that you won't be able to help out at all, since my power is still higher than yours. Nagumo and Goku at the moment held hands, so they began to use pure physical force. That's right, the collisions of their powers were incredible. A clear winner could not be observed, but at the moment, both began to exchange thousands of blows. The speed of the current battle even exceeded that of Zeno and Daishinkan. Damn it, from that wretch from Nagumo, we were never worthy opponents. That wretch had won and he had been able to finish us off. Whis, with the help of his staff, was able to get Daishinkan and Zeno enter the barrier which had created by Goku, being able to begin to recover his energy and heal each of his wounds. The battle of both seemed very even. However, both warriors were only testing their opponents. Although the disadvantage was Goku, because being the first time to use that power, the wear on his body was incredible, as all his muscles were torn by not being able to control all the power completely. Rain of stellar dates! Hundreds of golden energy arrows had been directed towards Goku, who with an incredible agility was able to dodge each of the arrows, while he began to approach, being at a prudent distance. He was able to open his mouth, which at the moment looked like the muzzle of a beast, since on his back the silhouette of an incredible Ozaru would become present. Supreme Celestial Roar! The incredible roar was able to generate incredible damage to Nagumo's entire body, because he had been able to completely impact it. However, Goku's body had suffered incredible damage since the Supreme Celestial Roar was one of Yamoshi's most powerful abilities, and his body wasn't able to completely assimilate it. I have to finish this miserable worm fast. I feel like my body's about to collapse if I fall here.
All my friends will die.
Damn bug, you've destroyed a big part of my body. I'm not planning to let that disrespect pass.
Nagumo, with his great power, was able to heal himself completely, so both of them started with their amazing battle again. However, this time, the power of both of them would start to decrease in a big way.
It's time. Nagumo's power would start to drop to incredible levels. We have to be able to beat him.
Both beings would come out of the barrier that Goku had placed, but the simple pressure of the battle was able to make them fall to the ground, expelling large amounts of blood.
Damn it. What the hell is this pressure?
I never thought that a being who does not possess any trace of divine energy is capable of reaching this limit.
No, damn. Even though it's hard for me to admit it, I have to retreat from this battlefield.
The roar from earlier was able to hurt me in an incredible way. Nagumo, using a large part of his power, was able to multiply his speed hundreds of times. However, the cost of this ability was the tearing of all his muscles. So the pain was immense, but Nagumo was able to connect a blow that destroyed everything around him, just like it would knock out Goku.
I don't have the required power to finish you right now, but after all, if you're Yamoshi's reincarnation, the next time I see you, I'll finish you.
Nagumo would create a great portal of negative energy, being able to leave, so the instant he disappeared, a big explosion would be generated all over the place. The destruction caused in the 12 universes had been at stratospheric levels, because millions of lives had paid for such devastation. Among all the 12 universes, only one planet had been able to remain intact. That's right, planet Earth had been protected by an incredible Goku barrier. However, instantly that Goku was knocked out, the barriers had completely disappeared. However, the battle had come to an end, so Daishenka would rise to the top of all the 12 universes with the intention of using all his celestial energy to bring to life all the fallen beings.
No, Daishenkin, even I, who am the king of everything and have to watch over the safety of the 12 universes, I know that in this moment, it's impossible. We have to end Nagumo's life so that all the 12 universes find peace.
But my lord, if we're not able to bring them to life in less than 24 hours, only the great god Zama will be able to do something.
It is something that we must accept, because if we bring them to life in the next battle, they will die again, since even the gods and angels looked useless before the great power.
Zeno-sama would instantly return to his base state, with which he would spit out large amounts of blood, since he had used the power beyond a king at all. However, instantly a great aura would rise all over the place. That's right, Goku's body would begin to expel an amazing power again. But instantly his entire body would be impacted by hundreds of rays, which began to cause incredible damage, which would even cause him to expel too much blood all over his body.
Father, what's happening to Mr. Goku? What are these rays due to?
I don't really even know, Whis. Mr. Goku, since the Tournament of Powers, seemed to have an amazing power. But I'm not able to understand what's wrong with him.
Father, I have something to tell you, Mr. Goku. He's the reincarnation of the powerful god Yamoshi. Since I've been able to speak with his divine essence, he manifested himself before me. Daishenka was surprised to know that Son Goku was the reincarnation of the powerful god Yamoshi. However, at the moment, the screams of Goku would take them all out of thoughts, since his screams were chilling. Just like that, at the moment, too much blood expelled from his entire body. But to everyone's surprise, an Ozaru would be represented throughout Universe 7, but this Ozaru was a green color, while only the essence of divine he gave off was completely overwhelming.
Long time without seeing you, Daishenkin. Zeno, I have left my last spiritual energy in my Ozaru, since 100% of my power I've given to Son Goku. They've been able to end Nagumo's life, since he's been corrupted by very powerful negative energy. And although we have been war brothers, we have to protect the universes. So after all, you were alive, Yamoshi. You don't know how glad I am to know that. But the power of Nagumo.
This will be something complicated, since Nagumo's power is even capable of surpassing us all with ease. We can only rely on the power of reincarnation.
You'll be able to beat Nagumo. He just must be able to adapt to the limited power I've been able to grant him. It's the only way.
Yamoshi's spiritual energy would spread completely, while at that instant, some energy spheres began to enter Goku's entire body, which had been completely knocked out. Meanwhile, in a castle far away from the 12 universes, a great barrier would be placed by Nagumo, and instantly he would vomit large amounts of blood, because the excess energy he had used compromised too many energy veins, which for a being who had not suffered damage in millions of years was amazing.
Ugh, damn it. I shouldn't have trusted myself with Yamoshi's damn reincarnation. But this won't stay that way. I'm planning to annihilate all of the Siri that get in the way.
Nagumo, at that moment, he was able to take out 2 energy swords.
I summon you. Demonic sword, come to me, and cut off the celestial energy of that cursed.
But at the moment, both swords began to unite into one, so they had immediately disappeared. But at that moment, a gigantic sword would begin to descend all over the place. So it would instantly hit Nagumo completely, destroying everything around him, as well as eliminating the celestial energy that Goku had been able to leave inside. Nagumo had lost both of his limbs, but the celestial energy had given way to his entire body.
Duh! That hurt me too much. That damn Yamoshi forced me to use my demonic sword to be able to wipe out all the celestial energy.
Nagumo would immediately fall to a rock, while a lot of blood would be scattered all over the place that passed. Nagumo would instantly be knocked out of combat, while his cells began to regenerate all the damage that the sword had caused him. Returning to the planet of Beerus, the deities of that kingdom of everything were about to leave, so instantly Daishaken with a very serious look would observe them all.
You should train, since we should not always depend on the power of the legendary god Yamoshi, since if some occasion he's not here, we'll all be eradicated.
The beings of the kingdom of everything had completely disappeared, while Vegeta was upset, having been overcome by Kakarot in an incredible way. And despite having achieved a new transformation, it hadn't been enough to do something against that enemy.
Damn it. We have to increase our powers one way or another, because otherwise, if that guy has allies, they'll finish us off.
I completely agree with you, Mr. Beerus. It would be better to start training again, so that we will not be a nuisance at the time of battle. The trio of warriors would begin with a new rigorous training, while Son Goku was still out of combat. But despite this being out of combat, his power continued to grow as his entire body began to assimilate the power of the legendary god Yamoshi. Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of the Whole, Daishaken, like Zeno-sama, had made the decision to use the legendary Forbidden Rooms.
My lord, I know that we're on high alert, but are you sure you'll be able to withstand the pressure of the Forbidden Rooms? It said that only the creator god and the mighty god Yamoshi have been able to withstand the pressure.
If there is someone who's able to endure them, we'll also do it. And if there has been no warrior capable of enduring it, we will be the first.
Your words have served me well, my king, and I'm ready to push my limits once more.
Both warriors prostrated themselves in front of a large door, which the instant it began to open, an incredible pressure would be released all over the place. That pressure was able to make Daishaken kneel, since it had been overwhelming. However, Zeno-sama at the moment was able to channel a little of the energy of the King of the Whole in Daishaken's body.
I've been able to transmit a little of my energy to you. With that, it should be enough for you to be able to master all the pressure.
My lord, I don't know how you're able to withstand this pressure, but if I want to remain your priest, I have to endure this pressure. I'm prepared.
The great door would be closed, so instantly the real hell would begin. Since staying in that place, he was able to create powerful warriors or end the lives of the subjects who had entered. The first thing both deities did was to completely master their energy, to be able to move much more freely. On the other hand, returning to the Nagumo castle, this had been able to recover completely. Or that was what it seemed, because when he got to his feet, a large sip of blood had come out of his mouth.
Damn. Been able to fully recover physically, but inside it's still very compromised. I have to rest for a while more.
Nagumo would leave a part of his palace in which he would start meditating again to accelerate his metabolism, thus to be able to recover in a much more efficient way. Meanwhile, returning to the planet of Beerus for the third time, a great aura had risen to the sky, but this time, the scattered rays did not cause any havoc to any warrior or the planet, so at the moment, Goku opened his eyes.
My head hurts too much, but I feel like my whole body exudes incredible power. I don't know what I should do. I feel like I'm even about to explode.
Mr. Goku, if what you inform me is correct, you must transform or at least access the Ultra Instinct, since your base state is not able to contain all your current power. Goku would listen to Whis, so a silver aura would rise all over the planet. That's right, Goku had accessed the Ultra Instinct maximum power without any difficulty.
Please, Whis, explain to me what happened. I absolutely understand nothing.
Whis, with his staff, was able to show him everything that had happened against Nagumo, and as Goku had been able to access a new transformation, with which he was even able to overcome the deities of the Kingdom of the Whole. Goku, you're the reincarnation of the mighty god Yamoshi. So, at this moment, only you're able to do something against that miserable. Kakarot, you have been blessed since your birth, apparently. That doesn't interest me, since I will be able to surpass you. Don't forget. At that moment, Vegeta's power would also rise in an incredible way. That's right, Vegeta had access to the Ultra Ego maximum power, with which he would observe Goku. I promise, in the future, I'll be able to beat you, damn insect.
They have left me surprised by everything, but that's happened in this short period of time. But of course I will strive, and Vegeta, I already want to fight with you again.
Goku at the moment, he would expel all his power, with which all the 12 universes would begin to tremble, since the power that Goku had released was a bestiality. However, at the moment, Goku would be able to access the state of Omni-God Saiyan.
This is the power that Yamoshi had granted me, but I have to tell him that I'm able to take him to a new state, since I'm much better than he is.
Goku would immediately return to the base state so that he would start going through each of his transformations, which had left him surprised to Whis.
What is Mr. Goku supposed to be doing? If even in his state of Ultra Instinct, even his body has problems with excess energy. If he continues like this, he'll explode.
No, Whis. Kakarot knows perfectly well what he's doing, since he's not stupid at all, so this must be something he discovered recently. Goku's power would begin to rise in a surprising way, so much so that this time, all his power, he was able to cause destruction all over the place. The instant he reached Super Saiyan 3, he would tear off his clothes. So like all his hair, he would begin to turn a silver color. Similar to the Ultra Instinct, but from a big explosion all over the place, Goku was able to access a new state, from which even Yamoshi hadn't been able to wake up. That's right, Goku had taken his power to a level beyond of a true king of the whole. Even Goku at this time could be considered an omnipotent being. His fur all over his silver-colored body made him look like a being who is completely on top of all other races.
This is the power of the Ultra Super Saiyan God. The power that I've been able to combine using 100% of all my power and 100% of all Yamoshi's power.
The deities of Universe 7 were amazed to feel all the incredible power that Goku was able to release. Goku, I'm sure that with all your power you'll be able to defeat that bastard, and will bring peace to all the 12 universes. Mr. Goku has left me very surprised of the authentic power that you've been able to master. You're even able to surpass the powerful god Yamoshi. Damn insect. Although it's hard for me to admit it, you've been able to completely overcome me. Meanwhile, at Nagumo Castle, he was able to feel the pressure of an omnipotent being, which made him panic. What the hell? Even that damn brat's been able to access the state that Yamoshi and I have always longed for. But instantly, from the whole sky of the palace, an interstellar storm was able to collide with Nagumo's entire body. That's right, a gigantic power was able to knock him out of combat, but if he was able to withstand it, he would still be able to access said state. If the Creator God is able to create Yamoshi, and Yamoshi was able to create that damn brat, I will likewise grant some omnipotent energy to Nagumo. Returning to the planet of Beerus, Goku would begin to approach Vegeta, putting his hand on Vegeta's shoulder.
You're an amazing warrior, Vegeta. I'm sure that your body and Saiyan pride will be able to withstand this and more.
Vegeta, a little confused, wasn't able to react, because in that instant, Goku, with a quick movement, was able to pass through Vegeta, holding his heart without taking it out of his chest. The deities were surprised. Damn, you betray us!
I know you'll be able to withstand it, Vegeta.
Goku was able to emanate an incredible power all over Vegeta's heart, with which his power would immediately begin to increase in a supernatural way. That's right, the Prince of the Saiyans was also able to access the same transformation as Goku, but of course with a few variations, since Goku's power would be legitimate, unlike Vegeta's power. However, the power he released was incredible. That's right, Vegeta was able to withstand all that incredible pain accessing the powerful celestial Super Saiyan. In the dark skies of Thraxis Nocturne, the stage was transformed into a cosmic battlefield, where divine light and malevolent darkness collided in an epic confrontation. Awamo and Ewin, the guardians of this planet, displayed their celestial power with a grace and precision that defied description. The glow of the purifying light emanating from Ewin and Awamo spread across the space, illuminating the shadows that the shadow creature was trying to grasp. Ewin and Awamo's every move was a ballet of divine energy, as they gracefully dodged the dark attacks encountered with unstoppable force. Awamo's wings shone with a resplendent light, like stars in the night, as he invoked the very essence of creation to repel the dark forces rising up against him. By his side, Ewin radiated an imposing presence, with his penetrating gaze fixed on the creature as it defying the darkness itself. The shadow creature, on the other hand, was fighting with an impressive ferocity, trying to resist the overwhelming power of Ewin and Awamo. Their dark attacks were launched like ravenous shadows, seeking to consume the divine light that surrounded them. However, every attack was countered by the impenetrable force of Ewin and Awamo, who remained firm in their purpose to protect the planet. The clash between light and darkness created a symphony of cosmic energy, with flashes of light and bursts of energy illuminating the firmament. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Your power is formidable, but it cannot resist the purity of creation.
You can't stop me. I'm the very embodiment of darkness.
Darkness can be powerful, but the real strength lies in balance, and we represent that balance. Ewin and Awamo continued to deploy their energy with amazing precision, creating light barriers that repelled the attacks of the shadow creature. Every movement of Ewin and Awamo was imbued with a divine elegance and grace, while the creature struggled with a desperate ferocity. Our mission is to protect the harmony of the universe, and that includes protecting this planet from your darkness.
You can't stop me. I'm inevitable.
The shadow creature launched waves of dark energy, but Ewin and Awamo easily repelled them, maintaining an opposing presence in the midst of battle. Every blow of Ewin and Awamo resonated with the force of creation, while the creature struggled more and more desperately.
The darkness can be a challenge, but our determination's unwavering. We'll not let you destroy this planet.
Your power may be formidable, but it cannot equal the eternal light of the universe. The battle continued with Ewin and Awamo and the shadow creature facing off in an epic clash between light and dark. In the midst of the struggle, Father Zeno, silently watched from his kingdom, perceived the magnitude of the conflict. With an imperceptible gesture, he decided to intervene, taking Ewin and Awamo to a mental plane where they could confront the shadow creature in a terrain beyond the physical. In a flash of dazzling light, Awamo and Ewin were transported to an ethereal realm, where the laws of the universe twisted and blurred.
Where are we, Ewin? We have entered the realm of the mind, a place where reality is molded according to the will of the observer. Here the real battle be fought in the deepest corners of our being.
While Awamo and Ewin were transported to a mental plane by Father Zeno, the shadow creature continued its fierce assault against the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and Cooler, the most powerful warriors on the planet, rose up against the darkness that threatened to consume their home. The shadow creature, imbued with a dark and malevolent aura, hovered over them with an overwhelming presence. He distorted his energy, enveloping everything around him, tearing reality itself apart, and threatening to plunge the planet into an abyss of chaos.
We won't let you destroy our home, shadow monster. We, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, are not afraid of the dark.
We have faced much greater dangers than you, creature.
We will fight together to protect our world.
The shadow creature launched a powerful dark attack towards the warriors, but they responded with relentless ferocity. Turles, his eyes shining with determination, unleashed a shower of destructive energy, summoning the very essence of nature to channel it in a torrent of energetic attacks. Their powerful attacks cut through the darkness with devastating precision, creating dazzling explosions that lit up the planet's night sky. Bardock, with his fiery ki and indomitable spirit, channeled his energy into a powerful attack. His fists were burning with a searing intensity as he launched a concentrated burst of energy towards the shadow creature, challenging its strength with its own. Bardock's attack resonated with the determination of an invincible warrior, willing to give everything for the protection of his world. Raditz and Cooler, united in battle, joined in a coordinated assault on the shadow creature. With fluid and coordinated movements, they launched bursts of energy from different angles, creating a barrier of attacks that surrounded their enemy. The shadow creature struggled to defend itself against the combined onslaught of the two powerful warriors, but its resistance was challenged by the determination and skill of Raditz and Cooler. Meanwhile, Frieza, with his golden form glowing with a golden aura, was preparing to unleash his full power against the shadow creature. His eyes shone with a cold and calculated determination as he focused his energy on a devastating attack. With a graceful and precise movement, Frieza unleashed a burst of golden energy that swirled with unparalleled destructive power, threatening to envelop the shadow creature in a mantle of fire and destruction. The battle escalated as the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne bravely faced the darkness that threatened their world. Every blow, every burst of energy echoed through space, creating a spectacle of destruction and determination. Meanwhile, on the mental plane, Awamo and Ewin were engaged in a metaphysical struggle against Father Zeno, an omnipotent entity whose presence radiated an aura of indescribable power. Ewin and Awamo, aware of the gravity of the situation, desperately sought the intervention of Father Zeno to counter the threat of the shadow creature. However, to their surprise, Father Zeno solemnly informed them that they could not intervene directly, since the balance of the universe had to be kept intact even in times of crisis. Awamo and Ewin, although unhappy with Father Zeno's decision, understood the importance of respecting the laws of the cosmos. With determination, they plunged even deeper into the metaphysical struggle, using all their ingenuity and power to find a solution to the crisis unfolding in Thraxis Nocturne. As a confrontation on the mental plane reached its climax, Awamo and Ewin found themselves face to face with the imposing Father Zeno. His figure radiated an indisputable authority, but also an aura of mystery that aroused restlessness in the Ewin and Awamo. Awamo, with his usual serenity, broke the tense silence that filled the ethereal space. "Father Zeno," he began in a firm but respectful tone, "could it be you that... Were you the one who sent the shadow creatures to destroy the planets?" Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, nodded slowly. "I did it for the good of the universe," he replied calmly. Although his voice resonated with a power that shook Ewin and Awamo, sometimes drastic measures must be taken to preserve the cosmic balance. Ewin, with a flash of indignation in his eyes, could not contain himself anymore. "But that doesn't justify the chaos and destruction you've unleashed!" he exclaimed, his voice echoing with unshakable determination. "There are other ways to restore balance without resorting to violence and darkness." Father Zeno observed the god of destruction and his angel with a penetrating gaze, as if he were evaluating their words and their posture. "Your compassion is admirable, but sometimes it's necessary to sacrifice a few pieces to save the entire board," he said in an enigmatic tone. Awamo and Ewin exchanged determined glances. Although they respected Father Zeno's authority, they knew that they had to follow their own principles and convictions. With courage, they prepared to challenge the omnipotent being in front of them, willing to fight for what they believed was right, even if it meant facing the divinity itself. The air on the mental plane was charged with tension, as Awamo and Ewin prepared to face Father Zeno. Their divine auras collided in a show of titanic forces, as Ewin and Awamo prepared to challenge the supreme being in front of them. Awamo, with his heavenly book in hand, looked at Father Zeno with determination. "Father Zeno, although we respect your authority, we cannot allow you to continue with this destruction," he stated firmly. "We'll fight for peace and balance in the universe, even if it means standing up to you." Father Zeno, with an impenetrable calm, nodded in recognition. "Your courage is admirable, but you will not be able to stop me," he replied calmly. "The fate of the universe is in my hands, and I'll do whatever it takes to preserve its balance." Without further words, the battle began with a burst of divine energy. Awamo unleashed his celestial power, summoning rays of light that he threw against Father Zeno, while Ewin threw waves of energy with determination. However, Father Zeno showed impressive resilience, deflecting every attack with surprising ease. The fight went on for what seemed like an eternity, with Ewin and Awamo and Father Zeno trading punches and counterpunches in a cosmic dance of power and skill. Every movement was imbued with a supernatural force, while the mental plane trembled under the intensity of his conflict. However, as time passed, Owamo and Iwin began to feel the weight of their opponent. Father Zeno's power was overwhelming, and every blow Iwin and Owamo received weakened them even more. Despite their bravery and determination, it seemed that they were fighting against an impossible-to-defeat force. Owamo, panting from the effort, looked at his companion with concern.
"Iwin, we can't go on like this," he admitted sincerely. "Father Zeno's too powerful for us."
Iwin, though exhausted, nodded determinedly.
"I know, Owamo, but we can't give up," he replied firmly. "We must keep fighting for Thraxis Nocturne and for all beings in the universe."
With a final effort, Iwin and Owamo gathered their forces to launch a final attack against Father Zeno. However, the Supreme Being easily overcame them, deflecting his power with a contemptuous gesture. Father Zeno looked at Iwin and Owamo with a mixture of admiration and regret.
"They're brave, but their struggle has come to an end," he solemnly declared. "Accept your defeat and let fate take its course."
With a resigned sigh, Owamo and Iwin surrendered to Father Zeno's overwhelming strength. Although they had fought with all their heart and soul, they knew that they could not defeat the Supreme Being in front of them. Father Zeno, with a compassionate look, looked at them benevolently.
"Rest now, my brave creations," he said gently. "His bravery will be remembered throughout the universe."
Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, extended his hand towards the exhausted Iwin and Owamo. In an instant, a powerful burst of cosmic energy emanated from his palm, enveloping Owamo and Iwin in a dazzling radiance. Iwin and Owamo screamed in agony as Father Zeno's energy enveloped them, feeling every fiber of their being torn apart under the relentless power of the Supreme Being. Their bodies, imbued with divine light, were slowly consumed in the maelstrom of energy, fading little by little into the ether of the cosmos. Owamo and Iwin fought with all their might to resist the cataclysm that engulfed them, but it was useless. The power of Father Zeno surpassed them in every respect, and they were soon reduced to mere shadows of their former glory. With the last gasp, Owamo and Iwin exploded, leaving body parts all over the mental space, dissipating into cosmic nothingness while their essence merged with the universe. At that precise moment, we return to the earthly plane, where the fierce battle between the most powerful warriors of Thraxis Nocturne and the shadow creature was reaching its climax. Bursts of energy and thunderous crashes echoed in the air, while Bardock, in the middle of the combat, glimpsed Owamo and Iwin, who were lying unconscious on the ground, enveloped in a halo of divine light. Surprise and dismay were reflected on the faces of the warriors, who momentarily stopped their frantic struggle upon realizing the situation. Bardock, his eyes wide open, watched in horror as Iwin and Owamo's bodies began to shake, emanating flashes of energy that increased in intensity with each passing second. A tense silence enveloped the battlefield as everyone watched the scene in disbelief. Suddenly, a heart-rending explosion echoed in the air, making the earth and sky tremble. Bardock and the other warriors were thrown back by the force of the explosion, protecting themselves as best as they could from the shockwave that was spreading around them. When the afterglow of the explosion faded, what was left was a smoking crater where Owamo and Iwin once stood. The warriors slowly stood up, stunned by what they had just witnessed, as the shadow creature, now shrouded in an even denser darkness, prepared to lash out again before the protecting warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Bardock clenched his fist determinedly, feeling a mixture of sadness and fury burn inside him. He knew that they must continue the fight, not only for the honor of their planet, but also in memory of the brave fallen guardians. With a war cry, the warriors rushed into combat again, determined to avenge the loss of their comrades and protect their home from the darkness that threatened to consume it. After the devastating explosion that killed Owamo and Iwin, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne gathered in a circle, still stunned by what had happened. Bardock, with a gloomy look, broke the silence with a grave tone.
"Damn it! What the hell just happened?"
Charles, frowning, shook his head in disbelief.
"I don't know, but we can't let this sacrifice be in vain. We need to get this thing over with once and for all."
Raditz, with his fist clenched, furiously nodded determinedly.
You're right! Owamo and Iwin gave their lives to protect this planet. We cannot disappoint his sacrifice.
Frieza, with his usual impassive expression, spoke in a cold and calculated tone.
The death of Iwin and Owamo should not be in vain.
We must unite and concentrate our efforts on defeating that shadow creature. Cooler, with a serious look, added determinedly, we are facing an unprecedented threat, but if we fight together, we can overcome it. Let's do it for the honor of Thraxis Nocturne, for the legacy of our brave comrades. Bardock nodded solemnly, his jaw tense with determination.
So, are we in agreement? We'll fight together until the end and avenge our fallen.
The warriors nodded in agreement, sharing a look of determination and unity. With their hearts filled with determination, they prepared to face once again the darkness that threatened their home. As the warriors prepared to face the shadow creature again, a fierce determination burned in their hearts. Turles, feeling the energy of the battle, was the first to unleash his power.
It's time to show them our true power!
With a powerful scream, Turles wrapped himself in an aura of energy. Her dark hair turned golden and her eyes shone with a dazzling intensity. The energy of the Super Saiyan emanated from his being, infusing strength and determination into his entire being. Raditz, inspired by Turtle's example, followed suit. It's my turn! With a burst of energy, Raditz's dark hair bristled, turning golden just like his brother's. His ki increased dramatically, emanating a commanding presence that filled the battlefield. Seeing the transformation of his comrades, Bardock also joined the fray.
I can't stay behind!
With a battle cry, Bardock unleashed all his power. His fiery aura enveloped him in a higher golden glow. His energy increased to astronomical levels, propelling him towards a higher form of his race. Frieza, observing the transformation of the Saiyans, did not want to be left behind. The time has come to show my true strength. With a burst of energy, Frieza transformed into his golden form of maximum power similar to 100% full power. His body radiating a golden glow. His power multiplied several times, turning him into an unstoppable force that rivaled the sunlight itself. Cooler, feeling the energy surrounding him, decided to join the fight with all his might.
It's time to unleash my true potential!
With a flash of energy, Cooler transformed into his metallic form, his body glowing with a metallic luster. His stamina and power increased exponentially, making him an invincible force that would defy even the gods. With their transformations complete, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne once again faced the shadow creature with renewed determination and a power that eclipsed any darkness. In the skies of Thraxis Nocturne, the battle continued as the transformed warriors faced off against the shadow creature, a being whose dark power threatened to devour everything in its path. With each of the warriors unleashing their full potential, the cosmos trembled under the force of their epic showdown. The golden aura of Turles, Raditz, and Bardock, combined with the imposing presence of Frieza and Cooler in their transformed forms, formed a dazzling spectacle in the night sky. Energy flickered around them, lighting up the darkness with golden and silver flashes as they prepared for the final showdown. The shadow creature, sensing his power of his adversaries, emanated a rumbling roar that echoed through the planet. His dark form seemed to twist and distort as he prepared for the final assault.
It's time to end this once and for all!
With a battle cry, Turles lunged forward. His speed increased by his Super Saiyan form. The shadow creature responded with an onslaught of dark energy, but Turles nimbly dodged it, moving with astonishing speed across the battlefield. Raditz and Bardock followed Turles' lead, attacking with relentless ferocity. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature's attacks were swift and fierce, but the Saiyans deftly dodged them, responding with even more powerful blows.
Father, let's keep the pressure on this thing! We can't let it destroy our home! I know, we're not going to allow this monster to destroy Thraxis Nocturne! Our power is more than enough to end it!
That's right! You taught us to fight with courage and determination! We'll not back down before this creature is destroyed!
Take this!
The shadow creature dodged Bardock's attack with agility, launching its counterattack with its sharp claws. Careful, father!
Don't worry about me. I'm more than ready for this.
And take this too! Raditz's attacks hit the shadow creature hard, but it quickly recovered and counterattacked with a surge of dark energy.
Damn, this thing's tougher than I thought.
We can't give up now. Our planet depends on us.
You're right. Let's show you what we're capable of.
The two Saiyans launched into the air attack once more with renewed determination. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature, although resistant, was overcome by the ferocity of the Saiyans. Turles, with his golden hair flowing behind him, launched a quick series of precise punches, each one carrying with it the power of his transformation into Super Saiyan. His movements were fluid and graceful, as if he were dancing around his enemy, dodging every attack with impressive agility.
There's no escape for you, monster. Your darkness can't compete with the power of the Super Saiyan.
With a battle cry, Turles lashed out at the shadow creature, striking with overwhelming force. Every blow resounded in the air, shaking the battlefield with its power. The shadow creature was fighting desperately, but its attacks seemed weak compared to Turles' ferocity. Meanwhile, Raditz and Bardock were continuing their assault on the shadow creature. Their attacks were coordinated and precise, each complementing the other in a deadly dance of destruction. The shadow creature found itself increasingly cornered, unable to cope with the combined might of the Saiyans.
Come on, Father. We know we can stop this thing.
I know, Raditz. Let's keep pushing until there's nothing left of this creature. With renewed determination, the two Saiyans redoubled their efforts, launching a series of devastating attacks against the shadow creature. Each blow echoed in the air, carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. Frieza and Cooler were watching the battle intently from a distance, their cold gazes evaluating every move of the Saiyans and the shadow creature. As the fight intensified, they noticed with increasing concern how the shadow creature began to gain more strength, releasing a dark energy that threatened to destabilize this situation.
It seems that the things are getting more complicated than I expected.
Yes, the shadow creature seems to be gaining ground. If we don't intervene soon, we could face an even more dangerous situation. With a cold determination, Frieza and Cooler exchanged a glance before heading towards the battlefield. His presence made itself felt immediately. His overbearing aura flooded the area as they prepared to face the shadow creature.
Looks like we need to intervene before things get out of control.
I agree. We cannot allow the shadow creature to wreak more havoc on our planet. With surprising speed, Frieza and Cooler launched into action, deploying all the power in an effort to contain the shadow creature. His attacks were precise and devastating, each blow carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home. However, the shadow creature was not going to be easily defeated. With a thunderous scream, he split into 4 separate beings, each one darker and more malevolent than the last. The earth trembled under their weight as they advanced towards the warriors, ready to unleash their fury on them.
It seems that this creature has more tricks up its sleeve than we thought.
It doesn't matter. We have our own tricks. Well, guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now, don't forget to leave your powerful like, Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.